Welcome to the courtroom. Today we have the case of Mr. Noah Beersma. Are you Mr. Noah Beersma, born on the 13th of April 2001?
Yes.
You have the right to remain silent. The prosecutor of this case is Mr. Akkus. The defense lawyer is Mr. Van Wijk. I will allow Mr. Akkus to speak first.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. The suspect has committed a crime on a 6-year-old boy. Mr. Beersma killed the boy with a drill at a playground. There were no witnesses, but there was camera footage of a surveillance camera at a house. The footage of the camera is clear. The suspect is guilty for committing a horrific crime. He should be sentenced to death. Let's take a look at the evidence.
Thank you. Now I will allow to let the defensive lawyer speak.
The footage of only one camera is not enough to sentence my client for this crime, because with the modern technology you can easily corrupt the footage. You should have multiple cameras or witnesses so the evidence is reliable. But if my client committed the crime, then he shouldn't be accountable for this. For this is for a good reason, because this man here has a mental disorder. Here are the papers, so you can look at it yourself. For this reason, I will be asking you to have some grace for this man during the lawsuit. He isn't able to think for himself, so if he committed the crime, well, I still know he didn't, he isn't guilty. And coming to the next point, Mr. Kush, we are living in the 21st century, not in the Middle Ages. We think that a sentence to death isn't something from this time. Maybe you're the real one with a mental disorder in this courtroom.
Mr. Van Wijk, if you can hand out the papers to me and the jury so we can take a better look at it, then I will now give the jury some time to discuss the case.
I think he isn't guilty because he was not accountable for his crime. Because he wasn't thinking straight and the camera footage is not reliable enough.
For what he has done, he has to be punished, because this is not acceptable.
I consent with jury bent.
Me too.
Can we look at the footage again?
Of course you can.
Thank you.
If we look at the papers, you can see that it is a really big deal, so I don't change my mind.
We have to lock him up, otherwise people of the neighborhood will punish him by themselves.
So the prison is a better place for him than being on the streets.
Maybe it's better for his own safety. So you are right, but the penalty is way too high.
Maybe it's better for him to lock him up in a psychiatric institution.
That's okay, but he has to stay there for at least 20 years.
I think that's a bit exaggerated. I think 15 years is more realistic.
Everyone okay with that?
Yes, I am.
I agree with that.
We have made the decision that he's guilty and that the death penalty is way too severe. We've decided to let him go to a psychiatric institution for 15 years.
Even though I don't agree with the punishment from the jury, and I think it should be higher, I am happy to see that the jury came to the conclusion to punish this psychopath for his horrific crime he committed, and I hope to see that the judge will give him a higher penalty.
Now I will let the defensive lawyer speak one more time to try and change the mind of the jury.
At first, I really want to thank the judge and jury for understanding my client by his mental disorder. But if you really want to help people like my client, we have to let them go up in society. We don't have to put them in a psychiatric institution. We can put an eye on them and let them go up in society to learn them how to be a normal person. And this way we will create a better society and don't have problems like this often. I ask you, Mr. Judge and the jurors, to release this man without a punishment to build a better society. Today we can write history.
The prosecutor has now permission to talk.
I want to ask the victim to speak. The victim is the father of the killed boy.
This boy was the only child I had. I loved him so much. But that psychopath just cut his throat with a chainsaw, with the blood just going everywhere. That should never have happened to that boy. He was so sweet.
The life of the father is really messed up. Now you can actually see how bad the crime is he committed. So I think he should get 5 more years.
Yes, the murder isn't just a murder. He didn't only destroy the life of a child, but also the life of his family.
I agree with that. 5 more years is deserved.
I think that is well deserved.
Mr. Judge, we have decided to increase our advice from 15 to 20 years.
Thank you all. Before I make a decision, I will let the suspect speak. Do you want to say anything?
Believe me, I didn't commit the crime. The camera footage isn't enough proof to sentence me.
Alright, then I will make my decision. Over half an hour I will come back to tell you my verdict. See you then. I made the decision that he should go to a psychiatric institution for 16 years, of which 5 years conditional.